Hey, what's up, everybody? You are tuned into PVD Horror. My name is Dave. I'm joined by my co-host Brandon, and today we are doing a Tony Todd tribute, followed by a review of all the films from the summer till current date that we didn't get to because we are sorry that we slacked on that. But we're going to do it right now, so stay tuned. If you like all things horror and want to get the best horror news, interviews, and reviews,
Like, subscribe, and ring that bell to follow us and satisfy all your horror needs.
Brandon, what's up, my dude?
Not much, taking it easy.
Taking it easy. You got a new background there. I like that.
Yeah, just working on something different, trying to
New
bring it all
studio
together.
space. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I see that you got that Crystal Lake sign,
yeah, man.
infamous for from our event, Friday the 13th event we did.
Yep.
Yeah, it's looking good, looking good. So as everybody knows, we had some really, really sad news this weekend. We learned that the legendary Tony Todd, aka the Candyman himself, has passed away at the age of 69 after dealing with a rather long illness,
Hmm.
which I think maybe some people were kind of aware of, while others maybe didn't know. Because I think Tony was like sort of a private guy, which I
Yeah.
really do respect.
Yep. And like you said, he was just like an icon, man. Starred in so many films. I think when we had him on the podcast, I think you had said something about his films, like his the number of films that he did, and
Yeah,
they were off. He goes, "Oh, I don't think you got it right." And so
yeah,
it's just
yeah.
just the way that man worked, you know what I mean? It was just like he was just down to do any project. And then like even in his later years, he was doing a lot of independent films
Yeah.
and just, talking with him, when he was on Star Trek and, some of our favorite films, such as Candyman and many more, so it's
Final
just
Destination, Hatchet, like
that's
just
nuts.
the list goes on.
Yeah. So to lose someone like Tony, it was just like really heartbreaking because it was just like I didn't even want to believe it. I didn't even think it was true, because at first when my wife had told me, I was just like, what? Because I was like laying down on the couch sleeping, and then so she's like, Tony Todd passed away. I'm just like, nah. And I
Yeah.
had texted you, and I had told you you would just get out of a movie.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
just like,
that just threw me totally off guard. I was responding to something else that you had said, and then
yeah,
you said that, I had to like process that. And
yeah,
I'll
it's
be honest with
crazy.
you, that really messed me up. Like the next day, I was like, I
Yeah,
could not stop thinking about it. There's just something about it that really does hit home. And I think that like one of the things I remember you saying a while back was just like his voice
yeah,
is just so like I don't know if you're a fan of these movies, if you're a fan of Candyman and Tony Todd in general, like his voice just sticks out to you because that's like
hmm,
it's just so prominent and so unique. And it's like, it's like if you hear Vincent Price, there's no
yeah,
denying whose voice that is, right? And
yep,
that's the way Tony Todd is. And like for our generation that grew up, like in Candyman, during that time when Candyman came out and have seen that movie 1,000 times and the sequels, it's
mm,
like he feels familiar. And then like, you know, us getting to chat with him and him just being so like such a down to earth guy. And I know
yeah,
so many people have been sharing their interactions with him or their experiences meeting him, and everybody says the same thing. He's just a nice, kind, generous person who's just like down to earth and just like it's like the thing they always say, you don't want to meet your heroes. I think he's kind of the contrary to that.
oh yeah,
Um,
definitely,
you know,
because that's definitely, what I mean, I think for two icons that are from the horror genre, I would definitely have to give it to number one to Tony Todd, and number two is Kane Hodder. You know what I mean? Just
yeah.
meeting those two guys. You know what I mean? Like, meeting Candyman at so many conventions over the years, Tony Todd over the years, and just the experience of meeting him. You know what I mean? He's just like, hey, what's going on? Or just like having any conversation. He treats you just like a normal person, checking in and stuff like that. Like, how you doing? And just making the experience easier. And so same thing with Kane. And so those two definitely stand out to me of, horror icon legends that I have met over the years. And
Yeah.
so like I said, like this one hurt because like we had him on the podcast and we we're talking about films, but then like you said, it just got into like so many other things in life,
Yeah.
like the clip that we reposted about just like the basketball game, just say good game. There's so many haters out here, you know what I mean? Just be a good person, you know what I mean? And then just the conversations of fishing and just all that stuff, man. Like normally I really don't like to re-listen to like episodes unless I'm like editing them or like, putting the videos together and shit like that. But like after that, man, I had to go back and like listen to this interview because it was just like he was just dropping so many gems, and then it was just
Yeah.
like, damn, man, like this shit can't be real. And then like having followers hit us up, and then just kind of like, damn, like he lived here, like you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so just having that experience too, and just talking about it, like living in Providence for 5.5 years and grinding, kind of just like us, eating,
Yeah.
like because we always tell people from out of town or whatever, when you come down, get the Oneyville hot wieners,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he knew about it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He
Yeah.
experienced that. He grew up in Connecticut. You know what I mean? So not too far from us. So, but
Yeah. It's Hartford, right?
yeah.
Big loss to the community. Tony
Mm,
Todd will be remembered forever. I mean, we have over 100 film and TV credits to remember him for. So, like,
yeah.
no shortage of work to be able to reflect on. But, what a legacy. And yeah, he will be missed. A life ended too soon. But
And I definitely want to try to keep his spirit alive for doing something in Providence. You know what I mean? Like he spent
yep.
5.5 years here, lived here. You know what I mean? So I want to kind of get some plans together of something that we were supposed to do with him. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so like if a lot of people listen, like we said at the end of the episode, we were kind of like reflecting on like fishing. That was one of his favorite things that he ever did. And when we cut off air, we were planning, we were gonna put something together for like fishing with kids that weren't able to afford fishing rods and like bait or anything, or just have that experience. And I would really love for anyone in the community that wants to be a part of this to help us do this. I think that we should definitely get that going.
Yeah.
Because that
Yeah.
was like
Absolutely.
even like so many times like it would just like haunt my head like in my mind like shit, we got to do this, like what's going on, you know what I mean? And then it was
Yeah.
just like to that point when I heard that he passed, I'm like, the fuck, man, like we were supposed to do this, but we're gonna do it, we're
Yeah.
gonna make it
It's never
happen.
too late. I think he would want it to continue and he would
Yeah.
probably want us to take the reins on it anyway. So,
Hmm.
what better way to make that happen? So yeah, if people are interested in being a part of this, we're gonna, make this happen and hopefully get the blessing of the family and see where we can
Mm.
go from there.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, so yeah, yeah, Tony Todd, rest in peace, my dude. Rest in peace. I one last thing. How cool must it be for like indie filmmakers who got to work with him to be able to reflect on that in the future? Like that's what an
Yeah.
honor. Like if you're an indie, because we had like a few actually on
Hmm.
here that got to work with him. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's something that they'll probably be able to look at back at forever and be like, wow, that was really cool that I had Tony Todd in my freaking film. So
Yep. Or just for even for us having him on our
I
podcast.
mean, we were that was like I know that I wrote a message on one of the clips that I posted. That was like our first like real icon that we had
Oh
talked
yeah,
to on
definitely.
here. And I remember we were so nervous and I shared it with my whole family and they're like, "Oh, I could tell you were nervous." And you guys pulled it together after a little bit. But that beginning was rough. Oh man, we were
Oh
like
yeah.
stumbling and there was pauses everywhere. But man, that I wouldn't change it for the world though. That was like
Not at
that
all.
was such a great experience.
And he was a Lakers fan. Take that,
Yeah,
Dave.
I know, I know.
And we won the
Such a good
championship that
guy.
year too.
Yeah, yep, yep,
So, yep.
yeah. So, all right. Well, I know not an easy transition, but let's get into some of the films because as we mentioned, we have been kind of like kicking ourselves that we fell so far behind on getting to some of the the big theater releases this year and kind of giving our thoughts about some of them. So we're going to do a recap on a lot of those. And we're going to actually start all the way back to A Quiet Place day one, because that's how far back we're going. This is basically the whole summer.
Summer madness,
It was
summer
it
mad.
was a wild summer for films.
Oh, it definitely
Um,
was.
I mean, we said this even going into the summer, but like obviously January and February of this year started
Hmm.
off really weak and then picked up. And yeah, leading into the summer, then like we got A Quiet Place day one,
Yeah.
which yeah, I actually don't know too much where you landed on this one.
Shit. I think I gave that like a 3 out of 5. I like the other two films better. You know
Mm,
what I mean? Because it was a cool prequel, and I would for me I thought they should have just gone right into three because the second one just ended with so much chaos going on. You know what I mean? And it's just like why why move away from that? You know what I mean?
yeah,
Unless I already know, but it's like you see some of the characters from the second one in the prequel, so it's what's getting ready to happen.
yeah,
Kind of
yeah.
go back to introduce those characters, but I had fun with it. You know what I mean? We were able to promote that
Is
with
that the
a
word you would
showcase.
use though?
What?
Is that the word fun? Would you say this was a fun film to watch?
I have. See, hold on here. Here we go here. So I have to change my rating system. You know what I mean? That's my nice system. You know what I mean? Because
Okay, yeah.
we promoted the film.
We
Uh
just
I
I know there's people out there that also fall into this like this like they also maybe are affiliated somehow or have some promotional
oh no,
tie-in
yeah.
and like they just don't rate the film.
Oh no, no,
And
yeah.
that always I I guess that's kind of what we got to do sometimes. I
I
don't
always
disagree with your rating. I actually that's
no.
not what I'm saying at all. I think 3.5 was fine.
Yeah, it was, and that's what I'm saying. Like 3.5 to me is good, but I had a lot of people who hit me up, Keith, aka Vision, Funeral Vision. You know what I mean? He says my rating system's a little off sometimes, but I can understand that. But look, we promoted the film. I was able to go with my daughter. Um, fucking seen it on IMAX.
Okay.
So when I see films on IMAX, that
Yeah, that changes it a little
throws
bit.
in a whole nother level to it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And so overall, I like the franchise. You know what
Yep.
I mean? And so good actors in the film. Had a good time. I can't. I'm not gonna shit on the film. The film wasn't like terrible.
No, I actually I'm just busting your chops. I
Yeah,
enjoyed it. I just don't
yeah,
think it was fun. If you get what I'm saying. Like there was some parts in it that I was like, ugh, like um I don't know. Some of like the dynamic between the two I could have done with less. Like it just I don't know. I didn't feel chemistry with them. It felt
yeah,
a little forced, like that he was like so like up her ass the whole time. And he drove me a little nuts with some of like like there was always like those stupid moments that they make a poor choice, then you gotta like watch someone get saved and a lot of
yeah,
that stuff. Overall, like you said, I like the franchise. I like the creatures. The second one had way too much CGI, so I think this one, even though it had CGI, it wasn't as like bad as the second one
yeah.
at points. And yeah, I mean, I'm down for watching a Quiet Place movie. I do. It's a interesting experience at the theater because it's everybody's obviously so quiet and like that makes it a little bit different. But yeah, I just don't think I had fun. It was like
Fun.
an
You didn't have fun.
experience.
All right, you know, what I mean, it is what it is. Don't put me on a chopping block because
Sorry, Brandon.
throwing out little words here and there. Sometimes
It
it's
was
on
a
the
little
fly.
stressful at times. It was
See, I
like,
don't
but
I don't
it was
feel that.
good.
I don't feel that. You know what I mean? I don't have that feeling at times.
She was very
Like
sick, so like I wasn't having fun watching her go to her stuff. That was
certain,
the thing. It was like also she probably would have just passed away in
yeah, but
in real life, like way before the end. Like she would just been done.
see, the
She
thing
was
is
very
with
sick.
certain films don't like they don't make me feel that certain way. Like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I just because there's like a chase scene going on, like the next film that I'm going to talk about, like you know what I mean?
yeah.
That doesn't fucking change my mindset of films. I think it has to be like something like really fucking crazy. I don't know, like some a
What to
movie
get you
that
on
you
like the edge of your seat?
yeah, it's
Mm.
not many films get me like that though. So who knows?
There's one on this, at least one on this list that did. I'll share that in a little bit.
All
So the
right.
next one is Maxine,
Okay.
and
Yep.
we both landed at, I want to say
3.5.
3.5. Yeah, we both
Yeah.
landed at 3.5 on this one, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. I think that overall, I think for the trilogy, I think it's the weakest one. Yeah, I mean for me on my end.
Yep.
So, um no matter what, I think X definitely is number one. That definitely that was a movie I had fun with right there.
Yeah, that's a
Did you
fun
have
movie, I
did you have
guess.
fun with
Yeah.
X?
Yeah, I would say that's a fun one. It's definitely more fun than Pearl,
Oh yeah, Pearl.
which is also a film I like, but yeah, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I feel as though this one just kind of lacked a lot of
It was very
key things.
mismarketed.
Yeah.
And by that I mean like I think we went in there thinking we're going to see a horror film and then
Hmm.
it turns out to be a giallo thriller.
Yeah.
And nothing wrong with that if that's what you thought you were going into, but like I think some people went into that feeling very betrayed because it's like
Yeah.
this is not what I thought I was going to see. And once you kind of get over like that it's not what you're expecting, I think you can enjoy the film if you're
Yeah.
even into giallos and yeah, this style of movie. I did enjoy it. I thought it had a lot of like messages behind it that I think Ty West was trying to get across, and even like maybe even process some of his own feelings about Hollywood, straying from the genre, coming back to the genre. I love the chase scene is so ridiculous. Like the Kevin Bacon character is so ridiculous, but the chase scene,
Yeah.
um, like she runs into the Bates house. Like that's his return. He's like in Hollywood, but then he returns to horror. Like what better way to show that than his character's running through the set of all these Hollywood sets and then runs into the Bates house. Like I think that it was a lot of like his him kind of like showing kind of like his journey in some ways.
Yeah. No, and I'm a big Ty West fan all the way back from House of the Devil. You know what I mean? And so I think that with films like that, that's his original shit is just so good
Yeah,
to me. And I think
the
that
innkeepers,
yeah,
yeah,
and
like
I feel as though that like this shit commercially for him is a different tone. You know what I mean? I think for him is he's blown up so quick. And then we kind of like talked about it. We had guests on that were close with him, and that time when he took a break and he was gone for so many years, like you know what I mean? Even when he did X, it's kind of like, is this really a project that he wanted to do, or is this a film that the studio said, hey, this is what we want from you now?
yeah,
You know what I mean? And so that's why I have to kind of look at his career now and kind of like get that idea, like, okay, like what's going on here? Because he's not
yeah,
that type of person that comes out and talks a lot, you know?
right.
So it's
I
like,
I do think it's pretty cool. The trilogy spans
mm,
all these different subgenres. So we have the slasher, like a slasher with X. We
yeah,
have kind of like this elevated drama horror, psychological horror with Pearl, and then we get
mm-hmm.
this giallo thriller with Maxine. So I think it's if you like look at the project as a whole, I think it's like a cool thing
Oh
that
no,
he
yeah.
created.
Yeah, definitely.
But like there's no way you're gonna every single horror fan is going to be into all three of those films. They're just
Oh
so
no.
different. There's no
That's
way.
good. You know, I think
Yeah.
that because like I'll be honest too, like Pearl is not for me. You know what I mean? So it's not like I think that like artistically the way that the film was made, I thought it was really cool. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So but overall it was nothing that just like grabbed me like, oh my God, this movie's like so great. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
that I never got that from that film. And that's why I always say like X is, really cool. But like for me, Maxine takes the third spot because, like you said, I expected a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
You
I
know.
was actually so I went to the theater. I saw like a later viewing of this. I went alone and I was like squished between some couples
Mm,
and it was pretty full. And I was like, the whole time I'm watching this, I'm like, these people are probably, and it was like people I know that are like are casual horror
yeah.
fans, like younger couples that, probably like, oh, I want to see a scary movie. I was like, oh man,
Mm,
these guys have no idea. Like, this is not what they signed up for. But I
yeah.
didn't hear any grumblings, which, sometimes you will as you're leaving. So I guess everybody,
It
I
started
liked it
off really
cold.
slow.
It did. It
It was
did
slow.
way too slow. And I think that kind of like was what like told you like this isn't what I was expecting.
Yeah. And then like that was another thing too. I gave like I said, I gave it a 3.5 and then I was just like, really? A 3.5? I'm just like,
And
to be honest,
it is funny though when you look back like way later too at films, you're like, I gave that, and like you
oh
almost start
no.
to question it sometimes.
No, but here's my thing. So if like if I give something uh like a high rating, because usually I'm sitting in a theater with the credits going and I'll log it in
Hmm.
on Letterbox. You know what I mean? So everybody follow us on Letterbox. I'm B James 401. You want to throw yours out
I'm trying
there?
to remember what mine is. I think it's De La Zat, but I could be wrong.
Nah. Well, definitely follow us on Letterbox, so I can hear some more people complain about my scores. But yeah, I would put it up there, and then like definitely like the day after or 2 days after, I can sit there and say, you know what, this film was like a 3.5.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, or this is if I give it like a 4, I'm like, oh, this is a 3.5. But I think it's just in that moment, like after you process everything and then go home and then really think about it, and you're just like, okay, yeah, like, nah, I can change that up.
yeah.
But yeah, so definitely,
De La Zat 82, if you want to follow me on Letterbox. And I have actually been doing it lately too. So
nah,
I've been on
it's
top of
fun.
it.
It's
Yeah.
fun because that's the thing. It's like I understand when people sit there and they make comments about my score because I can sit there and see someone's comments, like their scores for a person that hates a lot of films, and then when I see them rate something that's like garbage with a high score, and I'm just kind
Mm.
of like, oh yeah, that's what we doing here, and then it's just like I just leave it, but I don't say nothing. You know what I mean?
Well, it is interesting because you do get to see some people just have very different
Oh yeah.
um like styles that they like over other ones.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of a movie that was pretty divisive as far as like who enjoyed it, who didn't,
Yeah.
Long Legs, I think had pretty clear divide as far as like whether people liked it or not. Some people loved it, some people absolutely hated it from things I've heard.
Oh yeah. Definitely. I was just like when I first watched it, that was a movie in the theater. The theater was packed. So the experience is another key point. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So for having a packed theater, like just understand, like for us, we don't really get too many theaters that are like full. You know what I mean? And so
Right.
now this is a packed theater. You can hear everyone kind of like gripping like every comment, like, oh my God, oh, you know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
that is another level for me. And then so I kind of gave that a high score, but then it was just like I was able to sit on it. I'd seen it 3 times in the theater, and then I was able to sit on it and was just like, all right, well, there's some key things here that were just kind of like all over the place, and my score went down. You know what I mean?
So
So
what'd you settle on? 3.5?
no, 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 no.
Oh, no, no, no. You were originally like
I think I was
real
like
high. You were a
four and a
five.
half,
No, you
four or
were a
five,
five.
five, five. I went down to like four, like four.
Okay.
Because it was the experience, and I think because here's the thing for me for long legs, um, the whole setup is I had gone into it, and Nicolas Cage had an interview, and he was kind of like talking about um just growing up with his mother, and she had mental illness, so he was able to take everything that he had seen her do and everything and put that into this character. So for me to kind of hear something like that and then like work in this field and it was just like, dude, like that's so creative. Like, you know what I mean? For Nicolas Cage for where he is. You know what I mean? And this isn't no shot at it, but I think that role right there like kills Mandy or anything else that he's been doing. You know what I mean? Because it puts it up at another level. It's just like to see him get back to where he
Jeez,
used
dude.
to be. Huh?
Wow, you were trying to get us canceled?
What?
Mandy? People freaking love Mandy.
I'm not hating on Mandy.
People
I'm
are
talking
outside
about
your house right now
what are you talking
with
about?
torches.
So you're telling me that his acting skills in fucking Long Legs wasn't better than it was in Mandy? What the fuck did you do in Mandy?
He had that moment where he stares at the screen with a crazy look on his face.
Okay. Do you understand what I'm saying to you right now?
I
I'm talking about
do.
acting
I
wise
know,
and
I understand what you're
fucking like
saying.
putting
I'm
shit
messing
together.
with you.
I'm saying like Mandy's a fun movie. I enjoyed Mandy.
Well,
Not
here's
saying that and
no, here's
shit
what
on
I
it.
will say though. I think and not nothing against long legs, but just the thing that was impressive about Mandy is what he could get across without words. Like it was
Oh
all
yeah.
body language, all facial expressions. I think that was kind of impressive. This one bonkers, but
Yeah.
like contained and um yeah, gets like he creates this character that just like feels so distant than anything we've ever seen from him.
Hmm.
And like to the point where if we didn't know that was Nicolas Cage, there's no way you would know that's Nicolas Cage. So yeah,
And
people
that's the
love
thing.
Mandy though. I
I'm not shitting on Mandy at all. I'm just saying his performance.
yeah.
What are you talking about? His performance wise as an actor. So it's like, I mean, like certain keys, I don't know. And then it was like funny. I was able to sit there and watch. Like I seen that movie, like I said, 3 times in the theater. First time me and X went to go see it, and then the second time I took Ava, and I thought it would be funny. It was like a joke because her birthday falls on one of the dates, like you know what I mean. So
Jesus
she's like,
Christ.
"Why are you taking me here to see this?" So it was just like so funny. I was just like, "Long legs is coming for you," you know what I mean. So it was just like,
That's a pretty elaborate prank you made her sit through it.
yeah.
What is
And then
because like I don't picture her liking that one.
she didn't
Did
like
she?
it.
No,
No, she didn't like
no.
it. She was just creeped out because it's like, what I mean? There's certain shit, man. It's like with certain films that could like truly happen. You know what I mean? Like this can definitely happen. Like, you know what I mean?
The the thing with long legs is
Mm,
I felt like, and so many people disagree with me on this, but I'm gonna continue with it. To me,
mm.
it felt like the perfect blend of Silence of the Lambs meets um Psycho. Like you
Yeah.
could see
Hmm.
Oz Perkins' dad's influence in his filmmaking, and you could also see like that inspiration from films like Silence of the Lambs. And I felt like it was a blend because it was bizarre, but it was also like super creepy, effective, like cop movie. Um, I did hear a funny statement from someone who was telling me how much they didn't like Long Legs, and they said like the cop's character, they're like, I couldn't stand watching this cop who had like zero personality and felt like yeah, well, I'm not going to say what he said because it's sort of offensive now I think about it. But like they were just
The
like
female?
they couldn't stand how
Okay.
they felt like she had like zero personality. And I mean, I get that it was super dry. I think it was intentionally dry. I feel like that's sort of his style in some ways. Like she's like very flat affect most of the time. But
That's
like,
what was supposed to be done.
yeah, no, I get it. I get it. But they were saying how like they couldn't
She was,
watch that character. And I'm like, I
yeah,
get it.
she was at the end. The doll had with the little chrome ball,
Yeah. Yep.
and then as soon as it was, destroyed, everything started to come
It
clear to
breaks.
her.
It
You know what I mean?
breaks.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, so she had the clouded head of
Yeah.
everything that was going on. Like, you know what I mean? It was purposely done. So,
Yeah.
see, over his head.
Well, I get it because like you are having to watch like a 2 and however long that movie was, hour movie of what that character being on the screen most of the time. But you gotta it's part of the story.
Yeah,
And
I think it worked.
yeah, I thought it was effective. I rated it 4.5. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it dropped it down. It went to 4.5, 4.5. Yeah, it was at 5. So yeah, 4.5, 4.5. Um,
You were just very excited.
had a good time. It was fun.
It was a fun movie.
Fun.
Um,
So the next film. So
Speaking
yeah,
of fun,
yeah.
I
This
I
movie
don't
was fucking crazy.
yeah, another one like really enjoyed it. Again, not like a fun experience because it was
No,
kind of grueling to watch actually, but I really couldn't stop thinking about this one.
but it was fun though
It was a fun time.
because we were able to promote it
Yeah.
for Showcase Cinemas, and we had an early special screening. So
Yes.
we
Yes.
were able to invite a lot of people. Shout out to everybody that came out to that event. It was a good time. So if you would love to see, early screeners like that or something like that, definitely continue. Whenever we have events like that, please come, because that helps us generate the buzz of, Showcase Cinemas to sit there and say, okay, fine, these guys brought in like some good
Oh yeah.
people. You know what I mean?
If people don't come, they're not going to be interested in doing these. But the film was Strange
Yep.
Darling, and amazing performances. This was like one of the strongest like acting performances that I can say that I've seen. Well, actually, no, it's a year of like really strong female performances. And
Yeah.
was it Willa Fitzgerald,
Hmm.
the main woman? Her performance in this was just insane, another level, like just amazing. I felt like she was so believable as this like character, and I'm not going to spoil anything. So like that's because that's a the enjoyment of this film is where it goes, right?
Yeah. And
But her
the
and
way
Kyle Gallner were awesome.
the the way they set it up by chapters, how they just skipped around and kind of like went back into it. I really enjoyed that. So
But
I
at
think
first, it was pissing me off. I'm not gonna lie. Like until I caught on to what was happening. Like, did you like think
I
like,
knew it was gonna do that because it was just like it was because it started off at like
yeah,
chapter what like seven or something or
something
like
like that? Yeah, like
something
six or
weird five. So
seven. Yeah,
and so I was like, all right, it's one of those movies. You know what I mean? So um I've seen a few movies like that before, and then like sometimes it's not done great, but like this, I think it definitely you
yeah.
know did really well. So I was impressed by that. Uh just everything, the color, the lighting, everything, the cinematography was just great and how everything was put together. So I had a fun time.
I'm trying to see what I rated this. I might have forgot to rate this
I
one
think you gave
actually.
it a 3.5, Mr. Oh, this movie's so great.
I actually no, that is genuine because like that is what I felt in the theater after I watched it. And then it was one of those experiences where I think it went higher in my ranks as
Where?
I reflected on it.
What did it
I
go
think
to?
I would probably no, I probably stay 3.5, but it's very close to
But
4.
it's a strong 3.5 though.
Very strong 3.5.
Yeah, and that's the thing. A 3.5 is not bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I would actually probably keep it at 3.5.
Yeah, because I gave it the same thing too. But there was certain things that could have been better. You
Yep.
know what I mean? But overall,
I'm not
overall
gonna lie,
fun.
like the last like 30 to 45 minutes of that movie blew me away.
Mm,
Like without like the beginning was fine. The setup is good. But like the last half, like the last 30 to 45 minutes, I was like, wow. So people should watch it. People should
wrong
definitely
three
watch it.
and a half. Oh shit.
Okay.
What's the next?
Got a few next. So one I've seen, no, two of these I've no,
One.
start. I'm only seen one out of these three. So there's a reason they're all lumped together and they might not all make sense. So we got Trap, we got The Watchers, and we got Smile 2. Smile 2 being the most recent of
Yeah.
these releases, The Watchers being the first one, and Trap was somewhere in the middle. We got two concert films and two Shyamalamian world films with his daughter doing The Watchers, and then M. Night having his daughter, one of his other daughters, star in Trap as he directs
Yeah.
and makes a concert for her.
Yeah. Hold
So,
on.
where do we
Hey,
start?
I'm gonna start right here. Why don't you like to go to the theaters on opening day, weekend?
I just don't. I just never make it. It just never works out that way. No,
I
I
don't
did just
know,
this
man. You
weekend.
miss a lot of movies, man.
Of course, of
I
course.
don't know.
Yeah,
We
it
got to
just
work on
happens.
that for 2025.
Hey,
We got to
this was
get
a
you in the
significantly
theater.
better year for me than last year. So I mean, I haven't watched all of them, but I'm not too far behind at least.
I don't know. See, this is why we're behind because it's like we got to sit there and put these shits together because I go opening weekend, opening night, and then it's like, hey, did you watch it yet? No, not yet. And then so we get put into the situation where we're thrown off, and I just wish that you would see these films in the theater and then get that experience because let's see, Trapped.
I saw that in the theater.
You seen that in the theater?
Yeah,
I didn't know HBO Max was a theater.
I did not see it on HBO Max. I saw Trap a while ago. It's if you look back, I
Oh
locked
yeah,
that
hold
in
on.
a
I think
while
you
ago.
seen Trap over some other movie too. Like
No,
you put
nope, no, no, wrong. No, that was Blink twice. I saw over.
yes, because you didn't even see The Crow either.
No, and I really don't feel like I missed out.
No, you didn't. That was terrible. But I seen it on IMAX, so
Yep.
I gave it. I don't know what the fuck that I gave that thing. Probably 2.5. Fuck that
Yeah,
movie.
something like
Um,
that.
it's not even get the fucking not even on this
So
list.
so Trap was interesting because I think you had already kind of given me a heads up of where you landed on it,
Yeah.
and watching it, I was like, yeah, 100%. Um, the first half of that movie, pretty enjoyable. It's
Yeah.
weird. Like M. Night does not understand how conversations sound between people. Like it makes you wonder if he talks to anyone ever. And he also loves that freaking close-up camera angle. Like an M. Night Shyamalan movie, but at this point, just by like some of the weird things he does, cinematography wise, I guess. Like he makes
Mm.
really interesting choices, but his dialogue is trash in this movie. With that being said, it is like somewhat enjoyable watching um the main character, like Josh Harnett, like watching him
Yeah.
sweat the whole time, and you're like, how is he going to get out of this? What's going to happen? And then you get the second half of the film.
But this whole movie pissed me off because it was just like if it wasn't in the trailer that he was a killer, like just watching the film and watching it like unfold, I think it would have been a better experience. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
it's like
It's
they
like
he
why give that?
that's like such an interesting choice because he's known for his twists, and like,
Hmm.
it could have been like the first time he gave a twist, like within the first
Yeah.
20 minutes of a film. Like that would have been a new experience for all of us because the twists that come in this aren't even good, like
No.
interesting
But
twists.
it's just like, okay there, buddy. Like, here we
Yeah.
go. I don't
And I
know.
I read something, and someone's like, basically he made this movie just to give his daughter a concert experience because he's trying to like help her singing career. And if so, then he's a great dad, and that's cool.
Well,
Um,
I don't know. Was this like an original like screenplay or was this like based off something? Because it's like we already had that experience of having someone on the show that book was, turned into a film
yeah,
from
I don't
for
know
him
on
and then it
this one,
went
to
a
be
whole
honest.
different way than it was supposed to.
Yeah.
So who knows? I don't know, but I think in overall the film was decent because I had gone with my daughter and it was like I was able to relate but I wasn't a killer though. I would be able to take my daughter to like concerts and everything like that and then have the situation of my daughter and her friends having falling outs and the
Sure.
parents trying to fix it. I understand that part, but it was just to the point where it was just like I think when they got to the house, it was just like why are we still in this theater? Why am I still here
Yeah.
watching this? And why is this going on? And it was
It
just
was
like
like, when
the
is this gonna end? When is this
yeah, and
gonna
it
end?
didn't stop and it just kept on coming. It was just like a like end of a movie when a slasher, you fucking shoot him, kill him, and it's just like keep getting
Keeps
back
getting up.
up. It's like, why is this person still getting up?
And it's one thing to like make us extend our belief, like have something crazy happen and we have to like
Hmm.
extend our belief a little bit, but like they made us do that so many times in that film. Like somehow Josh Harnett's like getting a ride from this famous person in her limo, and then the next thing it's like all the things that they just kept making us like have to sit there and believe that this could ever possibly happen. Just it was just too much. By
Yeah.
the end of the movie, you're like, just freaking everybody just freaking die. Like, please, like, just nobody needs to continue here.
And I wasn't satisfied with the ending either. So it was just kind of
Yeah,
like, it's a
yeah,
throwaway. Like, and it
yeah.
could have been great, but
It really could have been a significantly better film.
yeah.
I so the other two I didn't get to check out. So we got The Watchers.
So The Watchers, like we talked about earlier, M. Night Shyamalan's daughter directed this film. You know what I mean? And for
Mhm.
me, I had gone into it. I had caught this on the tail end of it probably going out of theaters. Like, I don't know, probably like the third week because I wasn't in a rush to see it. And so like the vibe and everything, I thought it had cool like the promo and everything was cool. We kind of talked about that. Like a lot of films had that, phone number or the website. Like there was a website you can click on and you can see
Mhm.
like the,
You watch them.
the actors just sitting there and you're just watching them. And so I was like, oh, that's cool. But the film kind of lost me because it was just like, you know what? I'm watching this. I'm like, did M. Night Shyamalan make this or did his daughter make it? And it's like, you know what I mean? I would love when like kids want to go like in their parents' footsteps, you know what I mean? But it's just like to continue it and like make a film just like him. I was just
Yeah,
like,
you got to
damn,
find your own style. It's
yeah,
like we were talking about with Osgood, Oz Perkins. It's like,
yeah,
like obviously Anthony Perkins wasn't making the Psycho movies, but
hmm,
like you could see the influence of his dad in his films, but
yeah,
it's still a very Oz. Perkins film, right? Like he
Yeah.
has his own unique style.
hmm And that was the thing. It was like there was everything M. Night Shyamalan, bit by bit. Like, you know what I mean? Frame
Yeah.
by frame, how everything. You would just think that he made this film. And I'm not knocking his daughter, but I would love to see her like be her own self, you know what I mean? And go out there and then like if you want to take this to the next level, like, you know what I mean, move away from your dad a little bit and kind
Yeah.
of have your own vision because, you know what I mean, he already has that style set up. Like, you know what I mean, where we can get mad at films and be like, oh, here's a twist or this and that.
Mhm.
But I don't know. It was just, I don't know. And it was too long. It could have been a lot been cut off on it. I wouldn't watch it again, but I thought it was like
It was
okay to
also
watch in
a
the theater.
Easter egg for the watchers in Trap. I don't know if you caught that, but there's a scene where they're driving through the city or somebody's in the city and they show like an overview and you see the watchers poster or billboard somewhere in the city.
Mm.
It was at the beginning of the film actually when they're going to the concert. So I
Oh,
thought that
okay.
was kind of cool.
Oh, all right. Yeah. Hmm.
Little things. He's known for like that's what I used to love about his films when we're talking about like Sixth Sense and all the like those earlier films. He was just so intentional with every shot, every color
Mm-hmm.
had a meaning, everything in the background had a meaning. And I just, I don't know that we're getting those same
But
types of
that's the
films.
thing, man. It's like once you do something so for a long time, you get bored. So like, is he just bored?
Yeah.
I think so.
His
Like, you know what I mean?
priorities have probably changed, I would say.
Yeah. So I think overall for him, Trap was probably just a fun film that he was able, like, you know what I mean? I think overall as a father to do anything with your kids or see your kids do anything,
Yeah.
like I'm not knocking anything that they're doing or whatever's going on. You know what I mean? Like just kind of just like the same situation with like LeBron and Bronny James, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, cool. Like, you know what I mean? You guys are playing basketball together and shit like
Yeah.
that. Like sometimes you just gotta step back and just like appreciate certain shit, like when things happen and like how it happens because it's like as a dad, you know what I mean? I just want the best for my kids too, you know? So
Yep.
I
Yep.
think that overall he's doing a good job. So not to shit on his films or his kids' films or anything like that. It's just,
Yeah.
yeah, it is what it
Yep.
is.
So that brings us to another concert film.
Yeah,
And this
so
is a very recent release. We got Smile too.
Smile too. So, I had gone like we were big fans of the first one, you know what I
Yep.
mean? We were able to
Yep.
dissect that film, kind of break it down. We did the Psych 101 episode.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I went into this film thinking like, all right, because like, we went into the first one thinking like, are we gonna like this film?
Yeah, no expectations on that one.
And we end up walking out like really enjoying it. I forgot what I gave that for a rating, but it was up there. And so going into the second one, the film starts off really strong, really strong. It continues from the last film, but there's a lot of holes in this film. You know what I mean? And for me to not really enjoy it, I gave this probably like a 2.5 because and trust me, it could be it could be a 3.5. But I just didn't like how everything was set up for it to like, fall together. Coming in from the first one, you're given like all the details of how and why this is happening.
Yeah.
I think this one, I don't even know how, in the first one, how long did we figure like everything was happening before she found out, like, was given the information?
I feel like it was that apartment scene,
Mm,
right? With her and the cop. And that was like not even halfway, I would say, right?
yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah, and then they go to he takes her to the prison,
Yeah.
and then the prisoner kind of explains a little bit more in detail. But they had before that they had gone, I think before or after they had gone to like the woman's house and she was interviewing like she was talking about how her husband was acting and stuff
Hmm.
like that. And this one is just so fucking weird, man. It's just like this fucking random guy. It's just
Yeah.
like you know what I mean, not to give spoilers or anything, but it was just like hey, you got to kill yourself before this. Like, you know what I mean? And so it was just like half, You know what I mean? It wasn't like a full
Maybe
setup. And
like
so,
last minute they were like, "Oh shit, we forgot to have someone come in and explain. Let's get this guy to do it." Let's
yeah. And it was
like
like
throw it in.
weird. It was weird. And then so it's like overall, the main character, the actress, great job. The whole setup of everything. The film could have been like so good. It could have been better than the first one because of the time and effort that they put in everything else. Um, and then for it to fall flat in certain cases, because even when I gave it a 2.5, people would hit me up and say, "Wow, you gave it a low rating," and I'm like, "Yeah, because I held this film to a standard because the first one I enjoyed it so much, and then when I explained it to people, they're just like." Oh yeah, but I kind of just like left it alone because even with all the holes and everything, I had fun and everything like that. Like, trust me, yeah, I have fun with it too. I seen it 2 times, but I still can't get over the holes from it being a sequel.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's just me. But like I said, it can be a 3.5, but it's a 2.5 because of how everything takes place. Like, you know what I mean? It
Yeah.
has to like continue and kind of like mesh together, and it didn't for me.
Yep.
So
So all right. That's mile two. Okay. We got Blink Twice.
I was shocked by this.
You were shocked by this.
I was shocked by this.
You were shocked by how much you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Huh.
You didn't like it?
I thought it was decent. Strong acting performances. A little heavy on like the obvious men are horrible people and all
Yeah.
that stuff. Like that message kind of was like, all right. I was kind of hoping maybe there would be a different twist of what was going on because like that was just very
Yeah.
obvious, but I get it. We suck. So
No, and for
rich
me, when
rich
I say,
dudes are the worst, of course.
yeah, like for me, I was shocked because this was Zoe Kravitz's first feature film. You know what I mean? And so I was just kind of like, oh, all right, wait a minute. Like how everything was put together, I was just like, all right. I thought it was going to be worse than what it was. You know what I mean? I had
Hmm.
no expectations for the film at all. And so I was just like, wow, this was a great, first introduction to films. You know what I mean? Like she's a great actress. She's done a few films. They're together,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Channing
Yep.
Tatum. All
Yep.
right. I didn't
That
know that
main
until
that
like after this
main
film.
I didn't either. I actually saw in like an interview or something after. That main
Mm,
actress was so good in this, though. She was like
yeah.
really strong performance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good performance. I had the kid from Sixth Sense, which
Sixth
was
Sense.
funny.
Yeah.
Seeing him as an adult now, and there was like it was kind of funny. There was the one. I don't know. So we don't want to give spoilers. So I guess I'll leave this out.
Mm,
There's this one character that doesn't have like who also has things happen to him, and they kind of also target him as well.
yeah.
And then you know what I mean. And I thought that was an interesting choice because I was like, he's also part of this, but then they kind of said like you're complacent by not if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem, I guess was kind of there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was heavy on the message. Um
Yeah. And it
it
dropped around like the right time too, with all that shit
yeah,
going on with your boy
I know. With
Diddy.
yeah, exactly. Um yeah, I just it for me, I just kind of was hoping it was going to be something a little different and it wasn't. But other than that, the movie was good, was decent. It was a very interesting twist and
Yeah.
the way that they kind of explained them that they were doing things was interesting. It
Yeah.
definitely was disorienting at some parts. You're like, what the hell is going on? Like, yeah, it was hard to figure out. And then when you get it, you're like, oh, all right. And the return of Gina Davis, haven't seen her in a long time.
Mm. Yeah.
That
I'm
was kind of
surprised she
interesting.
wasn't in Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice.
Yep. Yep.
So crazy. But yeah, it was a good watch. You know what I mean? Like I guess I was shocked for like
I
how
also was a little when I was watching this, I wanted to be an alien, but I went to go see this to compromise. And so I was pouting a little bit. So I think that kind of like also filtered the way I was viewing this. I was like, this sucks compared to Alien. Alien's probably awesome. And then I saw Alien and I had it was all right to me. I know you liked it quite a bit.
yeah.
Alien Romulus.
See,
That's because your middle name is Romulus. So that you just like
yeah, that's it.
automatically liked it.
Nah, see, so like For me, Romulus, I came in strong with it. You know what I mean? I gave it a five because I first seen this film opening day in X Plus. The experiences of those films, or when you're on X Plus, you have the bigger screen and the audio is just fucking nuts. So it just makes you feel like you're a part of the screen, and that's why I say all the time, like when even when I see Nope on IMAX, like that part where the alien was sucking everything up,
Yeah.
and then you're in that, like legit, I was felt like I was in that shit.
Hmm.
And then when I seen it on the regular like theater screen, it didn't give you that same effect.
Yeah.
And so I was able to see Alien Romulus on X Plus, and I seen it in IMAX. And the experience for those films, man, I wish that people would just kind of go and watch those films on those like platforms, like you know what I mean, because you can't get that same experience from a regular small theater. And that's the thing. It's like, dude, when we go to like if you go to a different state or anything else, like some theaters really don't have like big screens. You know what I mean? They have those like
No, no. I went to see In a Violent Nature
yeah.
in like upstate New York and some random theater there, and the theater was shit. It was
Was
like the
was
screen
it
was
like
horrible.
Patriot Place?
It
Right?
wasn't it wasn't Patriot Place. I can't
No,
remember
but I'm
what.
saying it
Oh yeah, yeah,
was the
yeah. It was like
quality, the
yeah,
small
exactly.
screen, and that's what I'm saying. I
Yeah.
seen Nope on a screen like that, and it was
Yeah.
just like it doesn't hit the same. So
Yeah.
I'm saying that like if you go and you watch those films on IMAX and X Plus, it's a different experience. And so it's like you're gonna add more points to it, and you're just gonna feel the experience is better. So like you kind of said it earlier, like feeling a certain way of a film, like those theaters give you that experience. You know what I mean?
So did
So
you see Alien Romulus twice in two different types of theaters?
yeah, I seen an X Plus and IMAX.
Oh, you saw both in like big
Yeah, and I didn't
experiences.
watch it on anything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't watch that. You can't watch that in any other.
So my here's my thing with Alien Romulus.
Mm,
I'm a big fan of this like the tie-in with Prometheus, that idea of like the creation
yeah.
and then like Covenant. While I know it's not like a great film, I like that it tied into that a little bit. They gave more of that story. And then this one was more just like action based and less, it felt like it strayed from that storyline with that
Hmm.
like creation type thing. And I really just like that storyline. Um so for me,
Yeah,
like
but it's
it's a good film. Just
mm.
like I would have loved for it to also have a little bit more of that tie-in. Um because I just want to know how man started, you know? I'm just curious.
But it didn't go from there. It was going. It was in the middle of the first and the second films.
I get it,
You know what I mean?
Brandon. I'm just explaining what I like
Yeah,
in
I
my alien
understand that, but you're
films.
trying to pull something away from other
No,
films that
I'm
came in
explaining
later.
why I think I liked some of the other alien films over this one. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, but those came later, so that's why, like, for me, I enjoyed it because it kind of like brought you back to the first two films. And so after watching this, I had gone home and I rewatched all the films, and I was just like, all right, cool. And then it was just like was able to kind of like put everything together, and it was just like, all right, cool. Well, and like even like Aliens, like that movie was just fucking nuts. That was fun, but I understand what you're saying. But I think that, a lot of people kind of get wrapped up into that point where it's just like they give it a low rating because they feel like a lot is being kind of like done and it's things are being missed. And it's like for Fade Alvarez, um I think he did a great job. And I think no matter what, when you step into franchises like this, you're never gonna satisfy anyone. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
set
You,
design's awesome. Like seeing the old school, like that blend of like old,
yeah.
but like with like the sci-fi um stuff. Like it was very cool set design.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, some of the characters like you don't really care for, so when things happen to them, you don't mind. So that was nice. Yeah, a lot of like flat characters though in current movies. A lot of like stoic flat characters in current movies these days. I'm just gonna say that this one had some too.
That's all right. I had a good time. So like I said before, yeah, I went in high on that from the experience, but it definitely went down to like a 4.5. Would you get it?
I think 3.5.
Strong 3.5?
Yeah, pretty strong 3.5. Pretty strong.
See, that's the thing. I can't hate because it's like I understand. It's like certain shit just makes you
Yeah.
go with a strong 3.5.
And honestly, for me, a big indicator of how much I like really like a movie is how much I think about it afterwards. I always say that it's like I really look for films that like don't leave my mind, and that one kind
Hmm.
of left my mind. So that was for me, I feel like okay with my 3.5. I'm
Yeah,
not
but next
like,
time,
should I go back?
next
I know I
time,
should have gone to a bigger screen for sure.
IMAX, X Plus. You can't watch those on regular film screens.
Yeah. Here
Like,
was my a big surprise for me, this next film.
hmm,
I don't know if you agree with this, but I actually enjoyed Speak No Evil quite a bit.
I did. I enjoyed it, but did you watch the original yet?
Nope.
See, so that's the thing. Like the original is streaming on Shutter,
Hmm.
so that was a big issue with a lot of people, and even myself. It was just like, why is this film being remade when it's only been out for 2 years? You know what I mean? And then after like going into it and
Oh,
watching this film, I'm like,
is there an original too? Is there one from like the 70s or no?
no,
Am
this
I
is just
dreaming?
from, yeah, no, that's from it's probably something else, but like this is a remake from the film in
Foreign?
2000. Huh? Yeah. So
Oh,
then it
gotcha.
was like,
They gave it a the American remake.
yeah, it was the American remake, and so that's why, you know,
Was this, let me ask you this question. Because like I'm not usually a fan when they do that. Like we've
yeah,
seen like when they did Martyrs, when they did Inside, all that stuff, and no thank you.
same.
But James McAvoy
Oh no, yeah,
like nails this role, I feel
yeah,
like,
he
right?
does. Yeah,
So would you say that this remake of like this Americanized remake actually kind of does maybe something positive by having strong casting and strong performances?
it's hard because the story changes so much. You know what I mean? So like, so you look at the original where it's just like, dude, what the fuck? What the fuck are you doing? Wait a minute, dude, what are you doing? And then there's
Hmm.
this, it's like, oh, everybody, let's go. We all make it away.
Oh, the end. So
Yeah.
some changes. All right. Oh
Yeah, the
yeah, I'll
whole
have to.
thing
I'll
is,
have to watch that. Yeah.
and so it's like everybody gets a trophy instead of it's like fuck you, there's one winner. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So so that's what I'm saying. Like for you, like I'm surprised you never seen the original because
Yeah. I
it's
don't
right up your
think I
fucking
have at
alley.
least. I don't
And
think I
so
have.
it's
Yeah.
like it like but then that's the thing when I had watched this one I was just like all right well I like this I like that I like this and James McAvoy did kill that role and it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like damn what if James McAvoy was in the original he was that dad in the original film that's what made me like kind of
Yeah.
like oh shit like what if he was that dude that did that shit.
Yeah. I actually will say the dad in this one too. The other dad
Yeah.
did a really good job. I think overall, I thought like all the casting choices they made were really strong,
Mm-hmm.
which is not kind of what I expected. Yeah, walking like being blind, not knowing that other story. This was to me felt great. Like I was watching it thinking like, oh, this is like another version of Straw Dogs almost, or
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know. There's so many different ones I could compare it to. But Straw Dogs also had a remake. Well, obviously, big time difference in between the two, um, but kind of unnecessary as well. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
I don't take away anything from this one. Like I said, like going into it and seeing the previews and everything is just like why? And then I'm like, okay. Yeah, okay, yeah, I can see why. You know what I mean? Because it's like
Yeah,
you can never play the original in the theater. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And
yeah,
then so it's like now you gravitate into a whole different audience.
yeah,
And it was just like, okay, well this is well done. It's a good story. Okay, this is safe and we can reach different people. You know what I mean?
sure.
And then the psychopaths and everything, horror fans, you can go to Shudder and watch the original.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, um, yeah, definitely check out both films. I would recommend. What did you give that?
I think I gave it a 3.5 as well.
Strong 3.5.
I mean, it's not a four. It's definitely not a four, but it's to me, it was a little bit more than a three.
Yeah, that's safe.
Um, yeah,
Oh, fucking. Did you see Cuckoo?
no, no,
Mm,
I missed it in the theater, and I have not heard anything about it streaming yet. So,
yeah. I thought it was okay. I think I gave that a 3.5.
okay,
It was nothing crazy. I thought it was a decent film. So, yeah, I haven't heard anything about it streaming yet either, but I think
yeah,
it's on VOD though, so
yep, that hopefully soon.
yeah.
All right. So we are going long. This is a long list of movies that we have to catch up on. So what we are going to do is we're going to wrap up here after this Speak No Evil, brilliant film, 3.5, strong 3.5. And we are going to summarize the rest of our films on this list. We got like a great group to go here, some really strong ones. Um, so we will summarize that in a part two of this episode. So stay tuned. We will capture all the rest of the films up to date. We promise. And then from there, we'll try to keep up to date, but no promises for that one,
I'm gonna get a nice shirt made. Take my strong 3.5.
though.
I don't have a strong 3.5. That's
All right.
crazy.
3.5.
That's
That's like
crazy.
us. We're a 3.5, probably.
What is it?
We're a 3.5, probably. Joe is a 3.5, a strong 3.5.
Strong. I'm just taking that from the Take My Hand from
Yeah, I know.
Scary Movie. I don't want to telling people. Well, good night.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Have a good one. Peace.
Take it easy.